To Messy Makes, I'm very excited to be showing you this new pattern today. It's one of our best sellers and it's fantastic. It's very versatile. It's a pant that you can dress up and dress down depending on the type of fabric that you use. So I have made it in the past with like a sateen for winter and it's been beautiful and dressy and glossy. But today I want to make it in this beautiful double cotton cheesecloth. I love the color, I think it's beautiful. You can make it for winter or summer. It's a fantastic pant. Now, also as well, if you haven't sewn before, if you're new to sewing, this is a fantastic pattern to start on. It's very beginner friendly. It's a lot easier to put together than you would think, and you'll be wearing these beautiful pants in no time. And I'm sure your friends will be asking you where you got them, and you can happily tell them that you made them yourself. Very exciting. So today I will be teaching you the following things throughout this video so you can add that to your sewing repertoire as well. So we will be sewing around a curved edge. We'll be doing some overlocking, or if you don't have one of those, that's okay. We can use a zigzag stitch on your sewing machine, that's fine as well. I'll be teaching you how to hem a double rolled hem as well. And I'll also be teaching you how to hem a pant. And finally, I'm going to be teaching you how to attach the waistband ties to this as well and how to bag them out. And don't worry if you don't understand what that means, it's fine. We're going to get to it. I'll teach you all the bits and pieces and all the jargon along the way, so you'll be a sewer in no time. Also, the fantastic thing about this pant as well, it can also be worn as a jumpsuit. It's really cool. It's a little bit sexy as well, so if you want to go out in the town party, it's fantastic for that, or maybe a beach party, something like that. Before we jump in, I just want to quickly mention what you guys are going to need to make sure that you can make these beautiful pants. You'll need some fabric scissors, you'll need some pins, you'll need a loop turner or some sort of thicker utensil that we can help to bag out the waist ties later on. You can also use mini pegs, they're really handy to use as well. And of course you'll need the beautiful fabric. So this is a beautiful double cloth cotton. Love the turquoise color, it's rich, it's beautiful, and it's nice and breathable. You will need 2.5 meters of this, but you can use different fabrics as well. So as mentioned, in winter it's fantastic to use something like a sateen, which will keep the warmth in a little bit more for you as well. There's so many different beautiful fabrics you can use. Would recommend going with something that has a medium weight to it, so it has a nice drape and it's floaty. So now I've printed out the 2-in-1 palazzo wrap pattern. It includes sizes from US 10, UK 14, all the way up to US 18, UK 22. Now we do have a smaller size set as well in a different pattern, and I'll link that in the description down below as well. Go ahead and cut out the panels. Alright, so we've laid out the front and back panel piece now for palazzo wrap pants on this beautiful turquoisey fabric. So what I mean by cutting on the fold, just have to fold the fabric in half because we just need to mirror this current pattern piece. So as you can see, this is a folded edge of the fabric. So make sure it's really important not to do this on the edge that is cut, otherwise you're going to be crying. So it is definitely folded. So you fold it and you just align the pattern piece with that folded edge. Just like so. And then you can either use pins or I'm using pattern weights. And then basically we're just going to cut it out. We're just going to follow along the lines. And we need 2 of these, 2 of the waistband ties as well. So let's get cutting. So next we have to cut out the waistband ties. So once again, we're going to be cutting this on the fold, and we need 2. So I've got 2 layers here, so I might as well cut them both at the same time. I'm just going to fold these up. So I'm going to pop this on the fabric once again, just check if it's the right size. And then we're just going to go ahead and cut it out. All right, so I've just put one of the pant panels on the table to show you. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the other pant panel and we're going to lay it over the top with the right sides of the fabric facing down. Pin and stitch a 1 centimeter seam allowance around this curved edge. So this will actually act as the crotch seam. So we're going to go all the way around, and then if you do have an overlocker, we can actually also overlock the edges, so that keeps the raw edges from fraying. But if you don't have one of those, that's fine. You can also use the straight stitch machine. You just have to use the zigzag feature on your machine, which it will have. All right, so let's start pinning. So we're just pinning around, as you can see here, making sure we're catching both sides of the fabric. And as I said, we're just going to take this to the machine now and stitch a 1 centimeter seam allowance line around it. Alright, so we're at the sewing machine now, so I'm just going to place my fabric in at the 1 centimeter seam allowance line. Now if you don't know, you should have some markings on your sewing machine to help guide you. So I've got a 10, 20 mil, 30, 40 and 50, so I'll be using the 10 for 1 centimeter today. It's really easy to line it up with that and just pop your foot down. Now if you do have issues sewing straight lines or you're new to sewing, you can also get these magnetic sew line guides, which are fantastic. They just magnetize straight to your sewing machine and you can just pop it there, and so you have a nice guide to make sure your sewing line is very straight. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to start and stop. We're going to make sure we back stitch as well at the front and the end of this sewing stitch to make sure it's nice and sturdy. And I'll just be stopping along the way once I take out the pins too. Now we are coming up to the curve of the crotch seam, so you just basically have to keep helping the fabric along, so just guide it around the corner essentially. So just make sure that the fabric stays nice and straight along here, and just slowly, you don't even have to like push it, it'll just guide itself, but just slowly keep it turning around this corner. And I'd suggest stopping here just to help realign your fabric again, like so, and just make sure there's nothing, if there's any bubbling here, you can just raise your presser foot and just make sure it's nice and smooth, and then go again. Alright, so I have popped my fabric into the overlocker machine. Now I just want to let you know that unfortunately I don't have these beautiful turquoise threads. I don't have 3 of them, so I'm having to use black thread for my overlocking. I would highly recommend whatever color you have that you do try and match it to the fabric, but for purposes today I'm just going to be teaching you how to make these, so I'm going to go ahead and overlock this in black today. So yeah, so just overlock or zigzag stitch this raw edge now. Next, we're going to be teaching you how to create a double rolled hem. So we're going to be doing this 4 times on each side of the pants, if that makes sense. So as the name suggests, we're going to take the raw side of the fabric, make sure you've only got 1 panel piece you're working with at the moment, and we're just going to do 2 small rolls, just so we encase that raw edge and we can no longer see it. Then we're going to take some pins or some pegs and just secure it in place, like so. Now you'll just keep going up the raw edge and you'll keep just double rolling it as you go. So once we've pinned in one, we're just going to continue up the raw edge, just making sure we're folding it twice with those 2 small rolls, making sure it lines up with the original pin, and we'll pin it in place again. Once that's done, we'll iron it in place so it's nice and flat and it'll become much easier to sew. Then we're going to do that on 4 sides, on every side of the pant panel. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that now. As you can see here, we have stitched all the double roll hems now for each of the sides of the pant. So there's one, there's two, and we've done the other two on the other side as well. So now we're up to attaching the waistband. What you'll do is you'll open up the pants. So it's a little bit tricky maybe to visualize, but if we match up the front and the back and we halve it, they're starting to look a lot more like pants now. There we go. So this is the front and this is the back, or vice versa, either way you want to wear them, they're both the same. Now we're just going to lay this flat like so. Perfect. All right, and then we'll grab one of the waistband ties. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the waistband tie and you're going to fold it in half and find that center point. And we're folding, and then you can either pin it or you can snip it. I'm just going to do a little snip. Perfect. So now we're going to take that notch and we're going to line it up with the center seam. And we're just going to pin it in place. Now what you can do as well, if you did want a stiffer waistband, you can actually interface this fabric first. So there are fusible interfaces that you can get that you put it on top and then you iron it on, and it will actually fuse to the fabric and make it a lot stiffer for you. But I quite like the floatiness of this fabric, so I'm not going to do that today, but that's something you can definitely do if you are looking for a stiffer type of waistband tie. Now also as well, make sure that you don't catch the other side of the pants. So you're going to want to put them down a little bit so they're not in the way. I probably should have said that before, but if you have started to pin, just double check the pins and make sure that the other layer of the pant isn't included. And then we're just going to pin along. So what we're going to do is we're going to stitch this together with a 1 centimeter seam allowance all the way along. And then I'm going to overlock the edges, but again, you can zigzag stitch the edges. And then we'll do the exact same to the other side of the pants with the other waistband tie. Alright, so now we've attached the waistband to both sides of the pants, as you can see here. So we've just attached the underside to it, and we have overlocked or zigzag stitched that shut now, so those raw edges are nice and protected. So next we're going to be bagging out this waistband tie. So basically bagging it out, we're going to be folding this waistband in half, and we're going to be pinning it together on this edge. And we're going to be pinning it all the way up and all the way to the edge of the pant. So this is also going to have a 1 centimeter seam allowance as well. We're going to sew along this edge and close that off, and along this long edge as well. We'll do this on both sides as well. So you can pin both the sides now, sew them both, and then we'll come back and we'll bag all 4 of the waistband ties out. Alright, so now that we've sewn all the waist ties together and we've closed them off at the short end, what I would recommend doing is just trimming this edge as well, like this, on the diagonal, and then maybe even just on the edge as well. And then what we're going to do is call bagging out. So essentially this is the wrong side of the fabric at the moment. So what we're going to do is take a loop turner, so you can kind of just move it around to get that movement. Practice makes perfect on this. We need to do this on all 4 waist ties. So I'm going to do this off camera, and then I'll come back when we're all finished. Okay, so we're back and I've now bagged out all 4 of the waistband ties, as you can see here. That's how it's looking. Now you can iron this as well if you'd like to get it nice and flat. But as you can see, if I turn them over and I show you on the back panel, so the waistband is still open when it is attached to the pants. So now we're going to fix that. And then once we've done that, we'll move on to hemming the pants and then we're completely done, which is exciting. So what you do here is basically lie it flat and make sure that the overlocked edge is facing upwards. Then what you're going to do is grab and overturn the other side of the waistband. Then we're going to fold the raw edge inwards and we're just going to pin it in place like so. So we're just going to go along and we're going to pin this in place the entire way, and make sure that you've pushed up the overlocked edge so that that gets encased in the waistband as well. All right, so now that's been closed the whole way through. You can iron this as well to make that fold in the fabric nice and stiff, so it'll be easier for sewing. So if you are having trouble sewing it, I would definitely recommend to iron it in place first. And if not, then you're just going to take it to the sewing machine and we're going to follow along and sew it up. We've finished the waistband ties and we've also finished the waistband itself on both sides, which is looking beautiful. As I mentioned before, you can give this a press to make sure it looks nice and crispy. From there, I would recommend trying the pants on at this stage and just seeing how long they are for you, figuring out if you need to like shorten them at all. These are a really good length for me, so I'm just going to continue on. So now we're actually going to hem the pants. And then that's it. This is the last step, so this is very exciting. So what I would recommend is overlocking or zigzag stitching the edges first. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that first, and then we'll come back and I'll teach you how to hem the pants. All right, so what you do now for hemming the pants. So we're gonna open it up and we're gonna do one at a time. I'm gonna pin mine up 2 centimeters now, or roughly 2 centimeters. And I'm just gonna pin it the whole way across, making sure it's nice and straight. And essentially, I'm just gonna do these to both pant legs. And then we're just going to do a straight stitch all the way across, making sure to back stitch at the front and the back. And then that's it, that's all we have to do. Then our pants will be completely done. I'll do this now and then I'll show you what they look like on me.